The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Well, hey, notaries and signing agents from across the glorious USA. Hello, friends, and hola, muchachos. We are thrilled to see you, and thank you for spending your evening with us. Today is Monday, July 1st, 2024, and this is MGM, also known as Monday General Mentorship, brought to you by Notary Stars every Monday except holidays, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're new here or just not quite sure who we are, Notary Stars is your one-stop training platform for everything under the notary sun. From rock-solid basics to mastering 32-plus loan file types for NSAs, we've also got you covered. Even when we conquer the mysteries of remote online notarization. And we have one of the very best notary business marketing courses that focuses on teaching you how to market your business so you can shine like the star you are. But wait, there's more. For everything else that we don't train on, we try to bring in the best and brightest trainers for the topics you're interested in. Curious about how our training looks and feels? We're hosting an open house training on Saturday, July 13th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Dive into a veteran's assumption loan package with us. All you need to do is register and attend at the link Kirsten just dropped in the chat. Your MGM crew is here. My name is Beth Hathoot, and I am joined by Mr. Ronnie Mickle and our newest member, Miss Kirsten Bly. Unfortunately, Mr. Bill Bumphreys, our ROM instructor, is not with us this evening, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. But we're all here to help you excel in your notary journey. Tonight's session is all about you, the amazing nationwide notary community who are dedicated to signing agent excellence. After all, you're here to hone your craft, become an industry whiz, and the go-to notary everyone dreams of. So let's make tonight epic. Turn on those cameras. We want to see those smiling faces. It's a lot easier to do this, to pull it off effectively if we can see your reactions, okay? If you have questions or tips you want to share, don't be shy. Ask away. Use the raise hand feature or post your comments in the chat. One final thing here before we get started. Keep your eye on the chat throughout the night or in the description if you're watching this as a replay for links to other important information. We also have two very special guests with us tonight, Mr. Matt Miller from California League of Independent Notaries and Mr. Gabriel Sturgis from Idiomatic. Plus, we have all those great questions everyone pre-submitted on our job form to get to tonight. So I'm not going to waste any more time yakking as we have a lot of ground to cover. It's only a 1-hour session. So Mr. Ronnie, are you ready to kick us off?
Absolutely. So I'm going to start off first of all by saying, please mark your calendars every week for this event, except for holidays. We do this every single week. We put out a job form for you. You guys write some of the most amazing questions in, so we really appreciate those, and so do the notaries who tune in to listen. But if you're not in a signing, this is not it's not as much as a training course as what I call keeping your ear to the ground so that you can, stay up to date what's going on in the industry, something that you might run into or something that you ran into that you want to share with other notaries. But I do want to ask you, like Ms. Beth said, to please turn on those cameras. It makes guests that are in the house feel really welcome when they're here. Right out the gate, I have two things that I want to go over. We had Gabriel from Idiomatic come by. It's been about a month now, maybe a little over a month. And I'm gonna have Kirsten post it in the chat so you can see the original episode. If you don't know what Idiomatic is, it is a great way for you to make additional money as a notary, especially for those of you that have websites. We are testing it out. Not testing it. We have built pages for Idiomatic onto our websites. In my marketing course, I've taught the students how to build their own, or they've hired me to build them as well. And now that the phone is ringing, it's not just me, it's my students as well. I wanted to bring Gabriel in tonight because for those of you that are not in my marketing class that are actually, doing this on your own as well, which is just fine if you know how to do everything. Gabriel, I have a big question for you, and this is what we want from you tonight. Kirsten should be posting our first episode in, but I want you to come back from time to time as we learn more and more about language translations. I've been starting to get calls from my website now that I've added this in, and so is Susan Burgo, one of our notaries. And the questions that they have for us, this is what I've come up with, and I want your take on it to see if you can help the notary community that now have added this in. So they find it on our website, and we say that we've partnered with Idiomatic, we have our affiliate link, we click, and we hope that they go to you so they don't ask us anything, right? But I get the phone call and I want them to go back to my website. So what I've done is I've actually come up with a link, in my phone or on my desktop or where I can get to it easily. And when they call me and they ask me and they say, I'm looking for document translations. Do you, can you translate from Russian to this, or can you do that? My standard response has been my partners can translate over in 150 languages, and they will take very good care of you. And I leave it at that. And I say, I'm going to make sure that you get connected with them. And I say, I'm going to send you a text message after we're done, or you can do an email if you're capable of that. And I put them right back into Idiomatic's lap because I don't know anything about language translations and I don't want to steer them wrong. So I send them right to your website with my affiliate link. And I let them know, like, you can call, you can place your order. Because once they click that affiliate link, even if they call you and then go back, now they've got a cookie on their website, it's still going to honor that commission, right? So do you think that is a good approach, or do you think there's some things that we should be saying when people are asking about document translations?
Good question. Brendan, thanks for having me on. I think there's two different ways you can look at this. One is yes. Well, the goal always right in the end here for the affiliates is to always have someone visit your unique affiliate link and have them click. That is the end goal, and that once they click on your affiliate link and once they place an order, that's how your commission is registered. With that said, I do think it could be useful to be able to have a basic knowledge of information, just pretty basic. How much does this cost? Do you guys do this language or the other thing? And this is all information that we have that we send out in our affiliate newsletter, which a lot of you guys get already. Most of it is already on the website. So when you click on your affiliate link and you get to the order page, there's also the FAQ section on the website. So that's one way to sort it out. I also, well, as Ronnie's saying, have everybody get in touch with us. My thought when you're making sales, it's never a bad thing to say no, in the sense that I don't know. I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that. And that could either be, well, let me speak with my colleagues or my translation partners, and I'll get back to you if you'd like to speak with me directly. Otherwise, yes, reach out to them directly, say that you spoke with me before, and they'll help you. As long as if you give a no, but then you give a solution to that no, people really respect that. Sometimes when you come across right away, yes, 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 it can look a bit suspicious.
Awesome. Now you gave us two great pieces of advice, and I want to, and your time here tonight is just very brief, but I want you to come in, every so often because we're growing this community with you on document translations. And we did put in the chat, watch the original presentation, so make sure you click on that and have it up on your screen. You can become an affiliate if you haven't yet. and you'll send out that information. But you said two things that I want to remind people before we move on. The very first thing is you said you can look at the FAQ section. So I have not looked at the FAQ section, and I'm the one who brought Gabriel in and was so excited about this. So I'm going to go look at the FAQ section. The other thing is I do know that you're sending out those emails I think it's like every week or every 2 weeks, where you're really helping the affiliates resell the product. And you have to read those guys. And let me tell you, when you sign up to sell something, or you're going to use things, we have members at Notary Stars who sign up and then block the emails, and then they don't get their leads, they don't get their class schedule, they don't get all those things. And they say, well, I didn't know that about that. When you engage in something, you have to kind of listen to what they're offering you. So now we have homework for those of us that have added in idiomatic to our processes and into our website, into our sales. We need to make sure we're reading those emails. And of course, during the work week, Gabriel, I will give you one thing that, since you're primarily working with notaries, one good time to put it out. We all get the NNA, Notary Stars, Sign and Thrive. We get all of our emails on Monday. So maybe move your email to like a Friday or a Saturday, because that way we can relax and it doesn't get buried, because Monday is like the hardest day for our notaries inbox.
That's a good idea. Good point.
Yeah. But I will try very hard to keep the community informed on how it goes with me in sales, because I'm already starting to see the sales come up. So I want everybody who is doing this to feel also to send in questions on the job form for Gabriel, and we can always hold them to the next time that he's here. Because he's going to become a part of our community. He's really interested in working with Notary Stars and helping us succeed on selling document translations. And the cool thing is, we don't have to know that much about it. We just have to know how to navigate that phone call to get them back to idiomatic. And like Gabriel said, I can tell them I don't know the answer to that. I can get right back. So thank you so much for stopping by tonight. I know that it's just a brief moment, but I want people to see your face. I want people to remember that you can't just grab an affiliate link and you're going to make money. You have to actually implement it into your website and kind of be conscious about how to navigate it when those first few phone calls come in. And the last thing, and I think you'll agree with this, in terms of document translations, your first 10 customers can actually turn more customers into it for you, because everybody I know that needs a document translated generally runs with a group of people who need a document translated. So if you become their go-to resource and you set up your website to follow up with those people and say, hey, you came through my website, or those things, like my ex-husband, when he got all of his documents translated, he came with a bunch of people from Brazil who also needed to have those same documents translated, because they were all working at the same hospital trying to get those things done. So you will start to realize where you can market these more people who you need to market to, and it will continue to grow for you. And there's nothing better than making money for something that you're not actually doing.
Completely. Translations are a huge industry, and especially nowadays, everything's becoming very international. People are moving into the US, people are leaving the US, moving someplace else. Translations can work for either as a standalone service, where people find you on the web. And this is why, as Ronnie's saying, if you have a website, it's really important to promote things on that. People will find you just as a standalone service for translations. And it's also a complement for doing notary work and apostille work, because almost any document used abroad has to be translated. So I mean, those just off the top of my head are two cases where you're going to need a translation. So if you can get in front of people's screens or on people's screens, there's quite a bit of business there.
Thank you so much for stopping by. We got to move on. We've got only an hour to answer a bunch of questions, but thank you so much for stopping by. You're more than welcome to stay. You might learn more about our world as you're coming, and this is going to be a perfect time for us to translate. But thank you so much for stopping by. We wanted to put you first so that you didn't get caught up in all of the notary questions if you weren't able to stay with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Gabriel.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Talk soon.
All right, everybody. Now, this actually brings me into my next topic, and then we're going to go right into the questions. I don't want this to take a lot of time. I did speak with Matt Miller tonight, this morning, and you may notice that I have posted some things, and I need to make this very clear before I say this. I am very well aware that I am talking about something that a lot of you have invested money into, which is trust delivery agent. And I'm not talking bad about another training course or anything that when it comes to that. But I have to tell you that something really bothers me about this that I feel you guys need to know. And I'm actually going to show you the proof tonight. And so I need you guys to understand that I'm not doing this to throw someone else under a bus. I'm doing this so that if you're spending your hard-earned money on things, that you know what you're getting into. So yes, you can notarize trust documents, okay? You can absolutely add this into your repertoire as a notary, and I encourage you to. What I'm about to tell you is not going to sit well with some of you, but you are absolutely, positively not allowed legally to be paid a commission by the estate planning firm that they currently have in place. And I'm just going to share my screen so that I don't have to go too far into this, but I need you guys to see it. This was sent to me by another document preparation company that I attempted to become a partner with because I wanted to make those commissions that we're all talking about. I wanted to add this to my business. If you go to Notary Stars and you say click hire a notary or related service, you're going to see the button estate planning coming soon. This literally came to me this past weekend. This is the Arizona state of Arizona Supreme Court, which this is the entity that governs legal document preparers. Okay, you can do this research yourself in your state, especially if you're trying to do this. So we know attorneys absolutely cannot pay a notary a commission for bringing them a client. If somebody reported that, they would lose their license. Now for LDPs, licensed document preparers in Arizona, California, New York, and Florida so far cannot pay a notary a commission. This is Arizona. This is the company that we hear about on the internet saying, hey, we're going to pay you $700, $600. If we go to page 60 of this document, and I'll actually drop this document into the chat in case anybody needs it for their research. This is the document for LP exam. All right. And if we go to page 60 of this, just going to point this out when it comes to fees and services. It says a legal document preparer shall at all times be aware of and avoid impropriety or the appearance of impropriety, which may include but is not limited to. And if we look at item 3, they cannot directly or indirectly offer to pay any commission or any other consideration in order to secure professional assignments. Okay, I could go on and on and on about this. And if you guys have questions about this, I'm more than happy to answer questions. Matt Miller, if you happen to be here, you're more than welcome to come on. He said that he would come by tonight, but we all know that he's pretty busy. He called me this morning and said, absolutely, I agree with you. I got a text message to prove it. You guys know that this is not about going back and forth between camps, but legally, the company that is saying I'm going to pay you a commission legally cannot pay you a commission. So if you've been being paid commissions, they are in turn breaking the law. So we've brought it to everyone's attention through blogs, social media, and this is not, it's so hard to speak about other places. There are so many things we can do to add in affiliate work and make money, but we have to have viable sources if we're going to invest our time. Yes, you can still refer business to those people, but you cannot get commissions. And I'm going through as fast as I can for all 50 states. It's not looking good. I'm doing the major states first where you guys might reside. I'm going to get that onto Notary Stars and into the blog articles so you have that information. It sucks to hear it. There's no other way to hear it because I was really excited about it. But we can still do those documents. We can still advertise that we can do them. We can still make it part of our repertoire. And maybe in the future, now this is something Matt said, and I hope he does pop in later. he said that there were notaries in a group saying, you know, how do we fight this? How do we get to be able to do this? And Matt's advice was you need to be very careful. And I wish he was here to give those words because he speaks much better about legal ramifications. He said we better be careful as notaries talking too much to state legislature about making commissions, because then they're going to start regulating us even more if they find out that we can make more money doing these types of things. So we might want to kind of understand that that's legal document preparers and attorneys. They've already got to them because of the amount of money that they can make. We don't want to bring too much attention if we can't do something and bark too loud. Miss Nancy, you got your hand raised on that, and I'll take these two questions. Anybody else that has a question, if you have something on this particular topic, please go ahead and raise your hand, and then we're going to move into the questions for the rest of the night, which you guys have some beautiful questions.
Just a quick question on this. I kind of wish Matt was here because he might have this answer. So I know that the document preparers and the attorneys, if they give out commissions like that, they can get in trouble, dislicensed or what have you, fines. What happens to the notary that took a commission from them?
You know, Beth probably can speak to that. I don't think that it is a problem for, and I'll let Beth comment on this as soon as I get these words out. I don't think the notary would get in trouble for taking the commission. However, if that person gets caught, another notary gets jealous and reports you, and we know those things happen, you've now invested all of this time and money into doing something that's going to stop a viable course of income. And it's only a matter of time when someone breaks the law that they're going to get caught and stopped. I sat in a conference with document preparers, and when I brought this up, I guarantee you that they're going back to report this company for doing this. Guarantee you, because they were all ticked off that they were breaking their, it'd be like a notary seeing another notary break the code of conduct, and then they have proof because it's on camera and being recorded to just say, look what's happening. So I know for a fact people are going out there to report this, and if anybody else comes up and tries to do it, they're going to report it. Do I think the notary would get in trouble? No, because you're not breaking the law, they're breaking the law.
I do have an opinion on that.
Okay.
And I'm going to first say, double check with your Secretary of State, because listen, some states tell us we can't even take a chicken egg at a signing. That's compensation for something. We can't take a tip. We're charging $25. We have to give them change from his $30. So I'm going to tell you right up front, be really, really careful with that. Remember, we are public servants. And we're not supposed to be compensated with yachts and chicken eggs or cookies and bottles of wine. So check with your state regulations before you even take a box of cookies from the sweet old lady's house.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Miss Melissa, you are ready?
Hi, everyone. I was wondering, what would everybody necessarily be a doc preparer that does this? Like there's trust estate companies that have salespeople, right? And they even have a contract. So oldest one, the Ameristate, like, you know, to be their rep and how much they would pay you.
So it's going to vary by state, but I'm pretty much certain that those people have to become document preparers in order to be those salespeople. So they're probably working as a team. But in Arizona, you can't have, and the thing that bothers me the most, and I'm not going to take your question away from you, but this company is essentially creating a free sales force. I've said that before, and there's no way to track it. But if you're in a state that says they can have a sales team, maybe they have to be under that umbrella and an employee of the company. And maybe it's not a commission, but, or maybe it's a commission, but it's controlled because they're under that thing. I don't know how all that works. All I know is that what that Arizona handbook for them says that they have to agree to in order to become a licensed document preparer. And just like notaries, it's going to vary from all 50 states. I've already heard back from Florida. We already knew New York. And California, you can look it up very clearly that it can't be done. Now Arizona, so it's not looking good in our favor. But that's, to me, asking what about the sales reps is looking for a loophole, to find a way to get around it. And we just have to kind of, and I do think that this company that's doing this, who talks about having attorneys on staff, this is a question that needs to be brought to them by you guys. Like, how are you, like, you have the book, I posted it in the chat. You need to ask them, how are you able to do this? Because it's very clear and in plain English, like, how are you going to pay me $600 or $700?
I'm
Or
gonna look through my contract with the one company that does that, besides the other one you're probably thinking of, and see, maybe, and ask them, like you said, ask them about that.
yeah, and ask them to show you, their fee, like what it says about their fees. And you need to ask a couple of questions when you're working with estate planning firms that are not attorneys, because we all know that the attorneys are bound by their state laws or the state bar association of whatever state they're operating in. And some attorneys can operate in multiple states because they take the bar exam, in all the states. But you need to ask them, who is the governing party for you as a estate planning? Is there a website, or is there a handbook, or is there a test that you have to take? And you need to go look at the fees and regulations yourself, because you just want to make sure that you're not going to invest so much time and money into working with someone that, I'll tell you, I've built up a big business before and then got my rear end handed to me when they closed the ability to do vacation rentals in Los Angeles. I mean, I was sitting on top of a really great company, and I've talked about that story before. And then boom, overnight, I had to go back to my roots as a notary. That worked out for me, but it really, there's no other word. It sucks if you have to build up something and then all of a sudden it has to stop and be taken away from you. And that's what I worry about with you guys, is spinning your wheels too hard to go out there and sell something or be a free workforce. And then all of a sudden that one client that you're banking on, boom, they go away because they did something wrong. It will trickle down affect you. Okay. Especially when you could have invested your time and money into other things that are viable. Did that answer your question, Miss Melissa? We lost you there. Okay. All right, perfect. Miss McGee, you're up. And then we'll, after Monsieur Wilder, will go into the question
Sorry,
tonight.
I'm sorry. Did you need me to, I had a phone call real quick. Did you need me to say anything?
Nope, I was just making sure we
Okay.
answered your question.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Miss Beth, whenever you're ready, the Beth McGee from New York.
Thank you. I just also wanted to mention there are a couple of other places that notaries can look to see what they're limited in doing. There are notaries are public officers, so there are usually public officers laws in your state. There may be a conflict of interest law in your state for public officers, also an improper gifts clause for public officers, and an ethics clause for public officers. So you might want to just check those, because I've checked many of the states, and a lot of them speak about things you're prohibited from doing, much of the time gaining a gift or an advantage for a service such as what we're talking about. So those are just additional places you might want to look, where notaries specifically are limited or prohibited from doing things like this, outside of what a document preparer or an attorney's office can do.
Thank you, Miss Beth, and I appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind just recapping that into the chat for everybody, I can get it, and I will need that when I go back and do the replay. I can pull it from what you typed in, to put it on the replay of the YouTube channel as well.
All right.
And
Okay.
actually, some of that is in contract law as well. So, just so you know.
And
But
if,
yeah, that's absolutely right.
if it's hard to put into the chat, you can also send me an email with those ideas.
Okay.
So that I can make sure they get into the replay for general mentorship for all of those who weren't able to make it tonight. I appreciate that.
All right, will do. Thanks.
Guys, before we go to this next question, I'm just putting a little reminder in, since there's 122 people on the call here. We are having a free open house training session on the 13th. If you have never trained with us before, it's kind of intense and a spectacle, and people say we've got it nailed down. We'd love for you to come and taste our training. see what you like, see what flavors for you. It's absolutely free. Just go to the chat and register. We would love to have you there on Saturday the 13th. We normally train Monday through Friday, but we put it in there so that we put it on a Saturday so we could try to reach as many of you as possible. And so far, there's almost 200 people registered just for that one training session. So we would love to have more. We want 2,000 people coming. But, you know, the more the merrier. Monisha, whenever you're ready.
Or maybe Monochet. Who knows?
But that could be it too. Let's see, we got there.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even mean to put my hand up, but I do actually have had a question. When I a while ago got the training, but I don't know how to access it. I don't how would I start? Then also for the signing service, I get a lot of notifications in my area, but I'm never given when I put in the bid.
And are you talking about specifically with Notary Stars or Unlimited Inc., or are you talking about with everyone?
Oh, with well, with an unlimited ink, but I took the training with I'm sorry, what you were just saying.
Did you take Notary Stars training?
What's that?
Did you take Notary Stars or Notary to Pro?
Yes, I did Notary 2 Pro and Notary Stars.
Okay, so it could be an issue with your profile where you might be missing something, and you can always send me an email to Ronnie at Unlimited Ink Notary. And if as long as you meet those criteria, I can take a look at your profile and see, like, recently we had somebody that didn't put in the NNA link right and they weren't being shown. So even though you're responding, our team's not seeing it. We go in and mark your profile for those things, but we may not be seeing you respond. Or there could be another reason. I mean, I have to be candid. You can take Notary Stars and Notary Pro and Loan Signing System and Sign and Thrive all day long, but if you have 20 blacklists, that might be an issue. I'm not saying you do. It all depends on factors. So if you send me an email to Ronnie at Unlimited Ink Notary, or you can even do contact at Notary Stars, I will take a look at your profile, and I do it all the time for notaries. You can send an email and I can take a look and see if there's anything causing your responses from being seen. And if there is, I will be able to tell you what those issues are.
I see. Okay.
And don't delay, because if you're seeing them, that means we have business in your area and I'd love to work with you. We just might need to be able to see what's going on with your profile. Okay.
So, Mr. Ronnie, before we move on, can we take a minute and just remind everyone that you've been nominated for the National Notary Association's Influencer of the Year award? It is down to 3. I guess you call them contestants, 3 lovely people. And we're down to the wire. So if you have not voted yet, would you consider, please, taking a moment and going to that nationalnotary.org link that was just dropped in the chat and vote for the person you feel is best suited to win that award. And of course, we're going to tell you that Ronnie is. The reason we're going to tell you that is because Ronnie's not going to keep that for himself. That award as Influencer of the Year is going to be for the entire Notary Stars community, right?
And Notary to Pro community. We will definitely make sure that Carol Ray's name is mentioned every chance that we get. Every presenter that's been here, that is, touched our lives through Notary Stars, and we want to make sure that we are not selfish about this at all. So thank you for that reminder, Miss Beth. I just want to make sure everybody knows this is not a selfish thing. I'm not trying to win anything. I'm just trying to make sure that those of you that have dedicated yourself to signing agent excellence, when you're here, I know that you're dedicated, because it is late on the East Coast and you could be doing something better on the West Coast. So you are dedicated, and our dedicated group somebody's got to go up there and represent us. So please, and tell your husbands and wives about it and have them vote too.
Is there still a contest going on that?
Yes. Also, if you forward the proof of your vote to contest, not contest with an S, contest at notarystars.com, you can be entered into a drawing. I'm not just going to win something this year. You will be entered into a drawing for $1,000 for the same day that they announce the winner. So put your names in there and we will do a session where we announce the winner. So everybody who forwards that into that email address, please don't forward it to contact at Notary Stars. That's a very big inbox. Contest at notarystars.com. We've set up directly to handle all of those things. For anybody that did send me a screenshot to contact at Notary Stars, I did forward it over. I won't be forwarding them over anymore because it became too much like forwarding them. So anybody up until today, I've already forwarded it for you, but please send it to that email address.
Perfect. All righty. How about Luz? Batista, I hope I said that right. You want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Finally, I made it. I'm so happy to be here because I really enjoy this chat and this like meeting with you all. I feel like I learn a lot every week, every time I have a chance to meet here. But my question is about Bankserv. So I was able to get approved and I was able, so I don't know if I made a mistake or, so my eventual goal is to also be able to get title companies to work with me and eventually be able to assign jobs also to, not to get you competition, Ronnie, but I want to be able to get there someday. So when I signed up for Bankserv, I signed up as a business that can kind of like pass on like subcontract other notaries. And I noticed I don't get many like offers and it's so hard to get any, like I haven't had my first assignment with them because every time they send a blast like offer, by the time I click on the app, it's already gone. And I don't know if anybody else is having such a difficult time getting assignments when they come through that like blast offers and just trying to get out there and is becoming really hard. So any advice, any?
Yes, I have a lot of great advice, and I'm so glad that you asked this question, and I'm sure Miss Beth will agree. You will never really be able to subcontract through Bankserv or Amrock or any of those, even if they allow you to sign up for it, because they're going to already pay you so low, and you're going to have to charge more to subcontract that out. So as a signing agent, you can work for those, and then here's the thing is no matter if you're subcontracting or you're managing, there's so many that come in, or so much competition on there that it's getting, and it's the same thing for Bankserv. It's going to go down a queue of notaries and you might think, oh, I can do that one, but there might have been 10 notaries on that list that got it before you did that are in the same zip code or 2 zip codes away and paying to boost list on signing order. Starting out to get to my level, which I want you to be my competitor. Actually, I don't want you to be my competitor. I want you to be my colleague. Okay. I want you to, if you want to come up to this level, I will extend my hand and I will help you up. Okay. I don't believe in competitors, really. I believe in colleagues. The people who aren't good colleagues with you, they're not competitors. They don't belong in your eyesight, your sight. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil about those people. They just don't belong in your world. So I want you to do that. While you're building your signing agency business, because that's really what you're going to be doing, is you will have to work for signing services and take what you can get. But you need to start now. Once you're ready, once you know the documents, once you know everything, get your training everywhere you can so that you can walk into these companies and secure business for yourself and for other signing agents. And, get to know your clients. You may start out with a company that only has 50 orders a month, and you can do that easily yourself or have one other notary that you do other things to, and then go get another one. Never commit to one company. And sure, fill in your calendar with the signing services. But if you want to get up to that level, that's exactly what I did. I would work Amrock, Mortgage Connect, all of them. And then I would manage out actually my other files so I could keep the notaries happy And I would, I would take a cut on those until I secured enough business for me to come out of the field altogether. And it isn't, it's a process. And anybody that tells you it's that easy, it's not. It took me a long time to get here. And sure, you hear people brag on the internet and things like that. Some people might be lucky. They might be lucky, or it could be fabricated. But most people, you have to go, if you want to get this level, you've got to get direct clients. You're going to need direct clients. You got to walk in those companies and get that business yourself. And here it goes pretty fast if you get one or two, because title and escrow is just like any other job. They play musical chairs, they change where they're working, and then they take you with them. And then when you go into an office, you always want to try to get 2 or 3 escrow officers using you, even if they're using another signing service or whatever. Get someone that you like, make connections, never burn bridges. And then when one of them leaves, they take you with them. And then and then you pray that they don't like their new job, even though you go, I hope you love your new job, and that they get you set up and then leave that job too. And it goes pretty fast when you have that happen. In fact, 90% of my growth has been from people leaving the job and taking unlimited ink with them, and then them not wanting to stop using unlimited ink for their company. Okay, did that get you motivated? Awesome. And come see me in marketing. We talk about direct marketing in that class, and I've got some great walk-in tips for you on how to walk in the door.
Yes, thank you for unmuting me, because that I wanted to do a follow-up about the marketing package. So I haven't signed up for that one, and that was like part of the question. Do you go over some of those tips and some things about, creating your signing company and bringing other notaries to work with you and all that? If you cover some of that there, because that's the next step. I want to invest on that, because I learned so much from the material, the training material you have there, and all the freebies that you have. But I want to take it to the next level, and I wanted to see if you cover that kind of information in the marketing.
I cover that kind of information in the marketing. I do a complete business setup, and I even have support for people who are opening their own signing service. And I will tell you that I do focus an extreme amount of energy on digital marketing currently, but I have all of that filmed. And then you have a general mentorship where you can ask me questions every single week and get answers. You have my personal phone number in your dashboard when you're a marketing student. So you can call me, text me, ask me questions. I'm really there for you. There's not a person in that class that won't say that I'm not there. So if you need support, you will have that support in that class. And I'm glad that you asked that question, because I don't think people understand the veil between, just working for signing services and getting found or getting noticed or getting in the door. And I definitely have that a part of the class. It's a full-fledged notary business marketing course.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm signing up.
Thank you. I'll look forward to it.
All righty, so let's go to the jot form now, Mr. Mickle. Since you're on a roll, I don't know if you're tired of talking yet, but here's one from Anonymous. Came in over jot form, said, if you forget to attach an acknowledgement to your RON session, and they're talking specifically about Blue Notary, tech support is telling me they can add it, but I can't go back and fill it in. They can only transfer my stamp and signature. Is this legit or not?
So this is a good question. And Bill, when I texted him this, unfortunately he couldn't be here with us tonight. When I texted them, he goes, do you want me to tell you the technical, or do you want me to tell you the truth? And I said, we are only going to tell the truth. So if you forget to attach an acknowledgement, a stamp, anything, here's how Ron works. While you are in that session, it is recording things in the background of that PDF. Okay. The printed version of that document means nothing to anyone. If we were to go to court about a notarized document, they're going to touch the paper, they're going to feel it. If we go to court about a document notarized on Ron, they're going to bring in a technical forensic person, because it's recording everything you're doing in the background on that Ron. There's a session running that we're not seeing, recording every keystroke. Was the signer there? Were both cameras connected? So if you make a mistake on Ron, you have to do the document over again. You can't just log in, attach it, and download it, or have somebody add something to it later, you have to go through the session again. That's my piece on it. There's not much more to say. You have to, and you need to know that part about working with remote online notarization. Because I had a notary mess up on a thing, and then he printed it out, stamped it, and then uploaded it. And we were like, no. It's you can't do that. You have to actually complete the session properly, and if you don't, then you have to do the session over again.
Digitally. That's why
Digitally.
it's locked with that digital key. Okay. Here's one from Jared. What is Google G Suite?
Well, Google G Suite is now what they call Workspace. And it's just a way to power your business. You can get a domain from them, you can get your email address, you can have a Google Voice, all of the product, a calendar, it comes together with all of those products, but now they're calling it Google Workspace. If you are, if you have a regular Gmail, you still have access to all these features, but when you have a G Suite or a Workspace, you get to choose your own domain name. So it won't be at Gmail, it'll be at Unlimited Ink or at Notary Stars or those things. And I find Google products to be very business friendly, especially with my inbox and my calendar and the features that it allows me to do. There are people who like other things, but G Suite and Workspace has worked out pretty well for me over the last couple of years.
Perfect. All righty.
And then
Wow. We have another Ron platform question.
okay.
Want to do that one? It's from Anonymous, probably the same guy or gal. Is there?
Oh, I'd like to know who found out how to put in the dot form Anonymous.
Yeah, they have an email Anonymous too. Is there a way to vet many Ron platforms in minutes, not days?
No, you really need to know what you're getting into. Have had them all come in as many as we can to come in and create tear sheets and to they create tear sheets and they do a video showing how their software works. They go over how much it costs, what their features are, and so you can compare them, but you're not going to be able to just, vet them all at one time. You need to watch the videos, not be in a rush, because generally when you sign up for a Ron platform, it's not as easy to change trains, so to speak, or jump trains, and you don't want to get caught in a contract. Like for instance, I almost got caught in a contract with Sinex. They have a contract for like 3 years. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, you didn't tell us this when you gave us the presentation. I signed up that day. Definitely wasn't told to me. And by the way, I communicate with 10,000 notaries on Notary Stars. So if you don't let me out of this contract, I'm gonna tell them all about it. And I have the email to prove I said that. I was like, I don't mean to pull the do you know who I am card, but I'm pulling it right now. Because I think that's ridiculous when I wanted to change platforms. So you need to make sure you're not getting into something that's contractually based that you can't switch. And it's not a cheap platform. And then cheaper ones came out. So, and easier to use. So you do want to make sure you're making the right decision when you choose that Ron platform, but it's not that hard. And another way you can kind of vet platforms is talking in class. What are your goals with your Ron business? What are you looking for? If you're going for title and escrow, you have to know if the escrow client accepts that platform. If you're going for the general public, they don't really care what you're using. So you may need 1 or 2 to start off and then narrow it down to just one again.
All righty. Hey guys, everybody, we are just about 10 minutes to the hour now. If you have a question, get those hands up. Get those hands up now. Ask your questions. We're going to continue to look at what everyone pre-submitted. There is something in the chat. It says Ron is not allowed in California. Legislature has approved that policy but will not sign it into law until 2030. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Ron cannot, or California cannot do Ron. That doesn't mean that you can't facilitate Ron work outside of your state, right? So keep that in mind. There's hardly a closed door to any of the side things that you guys want to do. You just have to think outside the box just a little bit. All righty.
Miss Beth, there's one on here for you that I really want to make sure that we get in. And I see hands going up, but let's do one more from the jot form because I think it's a great question. I'm going to jump down to it if it's okay. It's from Marty S. Do you mind if I ask you that question? Because I really want to get it on here.
Sure.
It says, if I have a regular client who I see weekly, whose unexpired ID has been established and proven and entered into my notary journal at every notarization performed, do I have to see the physical ID every time I notarize the document or enter it into my journal?
That's a really easy answer for all 50 states, guys. No shortcuts. No shortcuts. That's a step you just cannot skip. Even if in Arizona, we only have to enter the information in once every 6 months. If we have a regular client, we still have to look at the ID every time we do a notarization for him. There's tons of stuff that could happen. And I know it's going to feel ridiculous. In Arizona, we can say, hey, see entry on page 97 for the information section of that ID. We can reference back to it as long as it's within 6 months, but we still have to see the ID. State regulations do not give you any wiggle room on this, and California particularly, which I think is where Marty's from. So anything could happen. The license could expire, and if you don't look at it, you might miss it. Client could lose it and have to have it reissued. Now it's going to have a different date or something on it. Or maybe he forgot to tell you that he got a DUI and didn't have it for a year. So that would be something he doesn't have actual legitimate ID. When he gets back to where he can have it reissued, it's going to have a different number. So absolutely not. Always look at it.
And Ms. Beth, I have a question to piggyback off that, like a personal question. At what point does it become personally known if you've been seeing this client for, a year, 6 months, if you feel comfortable with them, you've been out to dinner with them, you've been to their office 100 times, you know their wife. What point do we constitute personally known and not have to enter ID into our journal?
Your state handbooks sometimes address personal knowledge. Personal knowledge is defined as think in terms of being able to stand up in court and say unequivocally, I know this is Ronnie Mickle. I've been working with Ronnie Mickle for 5 years. I don't know what his address is, but I know Ronnie Mickle. We work all the time. As opposed to a real estate agent or someone who presents themselves to you as a real estate agent that you see 5 times in a year. You might think you actually know this person. I don't know. Do you? Can you swear that he hasn't been duping you in 5 visits over the last 12 months? I don't know. You have to be totally comfortable that that person is who he says he is.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I just thought that I've heard people tell me before, like, well, I know this person, so I'm not going to collect their ID or that sort of thing, and I think it's a risk that I'm not willing to take if I'm just going by your office. And I've known people for years and found out that they just go by a nickname, and that their real name is something else. And I just found out what is it, Reese Witherspoon? Her real name is something completely different. Like, I'm sure a lot of celebrities do that, but kind of flipped me out. I was like, whoa, I've known you. I would have done a notarization for her, being like, this is Reese Witherspoon, and her name's not, not Reese Witherspoon. So you have to be careful for things like that, thinking you know someone when you may not really know them.
Yeah, so there's different standards in your handbooks across the US. You can look it up. Some of them don't even address personal knowledge, but think of it in terms of in the future, if you are called into court and the judge asks you, how did you use personal knowledge when you only know this guy, you've only met him 5 times for 5 hours at a time over a 12-month period? He's probably not going to think that that's good enough evidence to be able to swear to his identity. Anyway, Mr. Mickle, we have John Bright has his hand up. John, you want to unmute and ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually do not have a question. I have a comment about unlimited ink. I did my like my second Ron notarization for y'all Friday. I'm sorry. Yeah, Friday. And it went so south. Partly because of Blue Notary, but partly because of me. And they held up the document until I paid them to release the document. I went ahead and did that, and I was just going to move on. Well, Unlimited contacted me back and offered to pay me for the fee I expended for that. And I just have to say, y'all are awesome, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And I was, what you don't know, that there was a whole chat between me, Angela, Travis, and Bo, and Bo was on the phone with you. Guys, I have to say this, and thank you for saying this. This wasn't planned, but a lot of people think that I just sit at the top of the food chain, going barking orders and things like that. And that's not how we run our signing service. And anybody that's worked with us knows we do have a lot of instructions. We do have high maintenance, but when it hits the fan, and when we are there for the notaries, especially the notaries who are trying to accommodate and fix something. And I know, Mr. John, you gave us your full attention. How can I help? Those sorts of things. Nobody looked down on you. I was the one who said, pay him. I was like, do not, this is, everybody can make a mistake. I was the one who said, pay him, issue that check. I would never want a notary to pay $160. I don't know what the issue was, and I still have to look at what the entire issue was, but I would never let you pay $160 to do a closing.
Let me just say, when you do one of these, do not say it's a closing. That's what the problem was. It said on there it was a seller closing, so that's how I coded it on Blue Notary. Well, they automatically tack on about $100 to that. If you do it as a general notary item, they don't. And that's what I had found out about it.
Yeah.
So,
And, I'm glad that we were able to help you, and thank you for talking about my team. The agent that was working with you is actually brand new to the company. He's one of our white glove notaries in the country, but he is now, one of our managers in training, and I mean management level, like myself and Travis. And so him being there with you to navigate that, Travis and I were putting out our own fires because it was the last day to close on Friday. So we had lots of fires going off. People when can I get my docs, and will they make it? Or, somebody gonna slide into third. You were one of those things, and to hear that my team treated you well makes me feel very well, because I try to teach them to treat the notaries the way I did when I was on the phone lines, because it's gotten to where I can't be on the phone line like I used to. You guys know I used to assign all the orders and do all the notary support. Now we've got a pretty large team, and I need to make sure they are treating people with that kind of, same care and concern. Things are going to happen, and we just have to stay calm, help each other. And I'll give you back a compliment here. We can only help you if you're helping the situation, and you are helping. So thank you for doing your part when it goes.
John was awesome. That was John that I dealt with. And I hope everything went okay with the title company.
Yeah, everything, we all know that things happen.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you.
Sure.
Okay, couple of minutes left here. This is the first time in a while we will end on time. So Samson, you are the last question for the evening. If you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yeah.
I cannot hear you.
You're unmuted there, Mr. Sampson, but we can't hear anything.
Yeah. Do you have an exterior microphone? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is not going to be able to get that fixed. If it's a short question, you can tap it in the chat and maybe we can follow it up there with you. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, Miss Beth, I think the time has come to ask everybody to please turn on their cameras for just a moment. and let's say good night to everybody. We really love to give our signature wave. If you were if you don't know it, there's so many people that watch us on YouTube and learn about us. If you guys could just turn on your cameras and wave to those people, wave to yourself if you come back and watch the replay, wave to the future notaries that are going to be across the United States. Thank you so much for spending your hour with us. And remember, next week, bring a friend. We do this every single week except for holidays. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. And Miss Beth, how do we really say it here?
Well, first, let me tell you, don't forget to download and save the chat, okay? We just want to tell you that we're all in the same storm, guys. We're not all in the same boat. Some of us have yachts, some of us have canoes, and some of us are just dog paddling. Please be kind. Please remember to reach back, grab the hand of that notary next to you or behind you, and take them along with you on your journey. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Good night, everybody.